What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mid-Level Media, and today we're going to be throwing out some Vinegar Syndrome recommendations because if you don't know, there's a pretty big sale going on this weekend, this Memorial Day weekend, the halfway to Black Friday sale. It's one of Vinegar Syndrome's biggest sales of the year. I say this one's pretty much up there with the actual Black Friday sale. But all weekend long, several Vinegar Syndrome titles are going to be 50% off. I think they're promoting 60 to 70% off on select titles. Now, I don't know the exact titles that are going to be on sale, but I am going to be recommending some titles that I believe will be a part of the sale. I don't want to recommend anything that's not going to be a part of the sale. So anything that came out, because usually if it came out in the past 6 months, they do not include it in the sale. So if it came out in the past 6 months, it is not included in these recommendations because I don't think it's going to be on sale. Now, I'm on their website, which is shut down right now as I'm filming this. Not sure when I'm going to drop this. I might drop this the day of because this actually starts midnight Thursday night. So Thursday night at midnight or Friday morning at midnight, whatever way you want to look at it, that's when the Vinegar Syndrome sale starts. So I may drop this Thursday, I may drop this Friday, not too sure. But the sale is going to be going on all weekend. And we're also going to have announcements. There's going to be new titles that are announced as well. Yeah, guys, let's get into it, shall we? Look, Vinegar Syndrome, I talk crap about Vinegar Syndrome sometimes just because of their title selection, but that's kind of not fair, or it's kind of pointless because that's kind of what Vinegar Syndrome is. And several people point that out to me in the comments section, like, Kimbo, that's more of a traditional Vinegar Syndrome release. That's in line with what they've done in the past. And to that I say, fair enough. Look, I think Vinegar Syndrome does an excellent job. Like when it comes to their transfers, when it comes to Blu-rays and 4Ks, when it comes to their special features, when it comes to their packaging, like they're top notch, like in a lot of areas. It's just they don't always put out the titles that I'm necessarily interested in. And sometimes, very selfishly so, I'm like, oh, I wish they did this title, all the titles that I'm interested in, right? Because I would really love like a really cool like box set or slipcover edition of that with some nice features. And look, if anything, it's a compliment. You know, it's like I want Vinegar Syndrome to do this because that's the label that I think does the best job on some of these movies, whether they're old 70s slashers that were shot on a baked potato, or, you know, newer films from the 80s, the 90s that they give these lovingly like restorations to that just look so freaking awesome and immaculate. But Vinegar Syndrome has some good stuff. They've done some good stuff. They've done some good titles. So I aim to highlight those here in this video. So I don't want, look, I am kind of, I would say, a casual, you know, fan of Vinegar Syndrome. I did go hot and heavy into Vinegar Syndrome in 2023, but I've since kind of lightened up a little bit. I still got quite a few back there that I have not checked out yet. But you know, I really tried to not pick the most mainstream releases. You're not going to see Roadhouse. You're not going to see TCM2 here, The Freeways, Sidekick, stuff like that. I tried to go a little bit more. I tried to dig a little deeper to some under the radar stuff. But yeah, hit the like button though, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get right into it. And let's start with Howling 2. My sister, or your sister, sorry guys, is a werewolf. So this was a fun surprise. Now, I had seen the movie before, but it had been forever. I remember watching all 6 of the Howling films, maybe there's 7 now, back in probably the 90s when I rented them all from the video store. So I have very little memory of this, but I didn't think it was going to be very good at all. And some people would say it's not. Some people say this movie's trash. I had a great time with it. I think Christopher Lee brought a certain level of gravitas to the movie. And yeah, I was a little goofy with the werewolves being in monkey costumes and they didn't look like your traditional werewolves. And there was no like really great transformation sequence in the film. But Sybil Danning, like, she has such a charm and presence and charisma, and she's not bad to look at either. Was incredible in the film as the lead vampire, and I thought the movie had a nice like vibe to it. But the 4K itself is one of the best 4Ks that Vinegar Syndrome has ever done. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Like, sometimes when they attack like one of these older films and put it on 4K, like they really get into the nitty gritty and they really clean it up to make it look just pristine. And they did that with The Howling 2. This was a fantastic, fantastic 4K restoration. But on top of that, like, this was a past, I think, Scream Factory release. They included all the Scream Factory special features. There was a brand new feature here with the director of Immaculate, who's a big fan of the movie and the horror genre in general. and that was about 45 minutes. Or I say the interview, an interview with the director of Immaculate. It included the director of this film as well, but it was them kind of going back and forth about the genre, about making Howling 2. And that was a great special feature. I don't think a lot of people really talk about that feature or give that feature the props it deserves, but it was one of the best special features I watched last year. It was about 45 to 50 minutes long. Fantastic feature, but there's plenty of other like new features here, and there's those past Scream Factory features as well. And this artwork is freaking awesome. Like sometimes I don't love like the artwork that Vinegar Syndrome puts out, but sometimes when they nail it, they freaking nail it, and they nailed it with the Howling 2. I really think this is the best release that they did last year. I really believe that. I loved the Howling 2 on 4K. So if this is on sale for 50% off, you can get it for like 23, 24 bucks or something. I highly recommend getting the Howling 2. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a fun werewolf movie. All right, guys, next up, we have got Evil Laugh. And this was one that I just kind of popped in one day because I was like, I need to start going through some of these Vinegar Syndrome releases. I wasn't expecting much, and to be honest, like it's not a top tier like 80s slasher. It's actually directed by the kid that gets like chopped up or axed in the beginning of Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. I cannot remember the name of that character, but he's the overweight kid. I don't want to say fat, but kind of fat. That's eating the candy bar and being really annoying. That scene like scarred me when I was a kid, though. It really did. But he directed this movie, and it's a fun slasher film about a killer that laughs, and it's kind of scary. But the thing about this movie is there's like a meta aspect to it as well. So it kind of feels like a precursor to Scream in a lot of ways. It's not nearly as well done. It's very low budget, set in one location in this house. But yeah, I don't remember like everything about it, but I remember the ending being pretty cool. There's a pretty cool like little twist at the end. But the thing I really remember about this, and this is what happens sometimes with these Vinegar Syndrome releases, is they'll put a documentary on here, and this documentary I think might be longer than the film itself. It's like 80 minutes or something about the making of this film, and I think Scott Baio's brother actually was in this movie too. But the documentary sometimes can be a little bit more interesting than the film itself, just when you learn like all the problems that went into making the movie, the successes as well. Obviously, they got it made. But just the stories and stuff, sometimes those can be a little bit more entertaining. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes those documentaries can make you actually enjoy the movie a little bit more retroactively. So that's kind of what the documentary for Evil Laugh did. And it is really cool when you go back to some of these older like Vinegar Syndrome releases. Well, I think Evil Laugh was maybe like 2021, 2022. And you start to just really see the work that they're putting into these releases. And that is why I respect Vinegar Syndrome so much, is because they're not just re-releasing stuff. And I don't have a problem with that either, guys. Upgrading to 4K, do that, whatever. But they're putting out new titles like all the time. Are they titles I'm interested in? 99% of the time, probably not, or at least 90% of the time, probably not. But it's cool that they do like new stuff, and then they're doing like new documentaries and things like that. And that's really cool. And that's actually like interesting. So I do respect Vinegar Syndrome a lot for the care that they put into some of these releases. And Evil Laugh was certainly one of those. All right, guys, next up we have a really fun one. I think I remember getting this during subscriber week for like 10 bucks, and it still had the slipcover. I don't know why this one didn't sell out. This might be one of the most fun I've had. One of the most fun like watching experiences with a Vinegar Syndrome title I've ever had. And that is Blades on Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. This is basically Jaws on a golf court if Jaws was a lawnmower, is what this movie is. And it really is kind of shocking when you're watching the movie just how much this movie kind of rips off Jaws, just with a certain like shots. Again, it's on a golf course, it's not on a beach or anything, but some of the shots, some of the moments, some of the things that happen, the way the escalation of events transpire, how it builds, how the climax comes. It really reminds you of Jaws. It's like beat for beat, like the same kind of story that Jaws is, with the same kind of situations and things like that. So it was really kind of cool how they did that. Almost, again, it's like a parody is what it is. They don't want it to be taken like 100% seriously. Like they know what they're doing, and they don't expect you to not know what they're doing. But a really fun movie, again, with a lawnmower that kills people on a golf course. And again, it kind of plays out like Jaws. I don't remember the special features, but I think it had a A lot of good speeches. Oh, there's a making of documentary on here as well. Like they're really good about those documentaries, and I much prefer the documentaries versus the just regular interviews. I prefer that because I can just turn on the documentary, get everything I need, and then it's over with. I don't have to keep clicking on different interviews and things like that. But yeah, Blades, highly recommend that. Next up, we've got Rush Week. I don't really remember this too much, I'll be honest, but I remember enjoying it. But it's basically like a college campus slasher. It does have the girl from Halloween 4 in it. And I believe she's topless for like 5 seconds, if that sells you at all. And I'm talking about the Cops Do It by the Book girl. She's in the film, very, very short, very briefly, but she's in it. But yeah, I remember this being a fun slasher that's kind of like a whodunit. You find out, I don't remember the reveal being super satisfying. But it's a fun kind of college, campus slasher. I think I got this for maybe $12 in a sale. It's worth sale price at least. Next up, I'm recommending a lot of Blu-rays, guys, not just 4K. Next up, we got a Rowdy Roddy Piper movie. Hell Comes to Frogtown. And I didn't get the initial slipcover with this. I got the re-release slipcover that I think came out in 2023. And I just look at that, a frog and a thong, guys. That's reason enough for you to watch as well. You got Rowdy Roddy Piper, and you got a frog in a thong. It's a thong. But you know what? This movie was okay. All right, I'm not going to say it's great, but it's Rowdy Roddy Piper. I had fun with it. I just like watching him. Like, he's just very charismatic. I used to be a big pro wrestling fan back in the day as well. And They Live is like one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. I love that movie so much. I love it more and more each time I watch it. This is nowhere near as good as They Live. Not trying to say that it is, but he does bring that same like swagger and charisma to this movie. So even though the movie's not as good, like he's still good in it. Roddy Piper's still good in the movie. And it's basically a post-apocalyptic movie about some frogs that are trying to impregnate some women to populate the world with frog women thong people. It's a good one. I recommend it. It's a fun one, at least. That's a lot of Vinegar Syndrome, guys. If you're having fun, then that's a win. None of these are the Shawshank Redemption or the Green Mile, okay? Don't expect that. Except for maybe this one. This is actually a really good movie. I stand by that. It's a Western. Not everything we're talking about has to be horror, guys. It's a Western film, 5-card stud. Even though I would kind of classify this a little bit as a horror film. It's basically about a poker game gone wrong, and some people get killed, and then some people want to take revenge on the person that got killed, and they're coming back and they're picking off these people that were involved in the killing one by one. So it's kind of like a whodunit slasher film set in the Old West. And it kind of, the poker game, the card game is what sets it off. But it's got a really good cast. It's got Dean Martin in this film, guys. Classic film actor Dean Martin as the sheriff. You got Robert Mitchum in this film from Night of the Hunter, which is a fantastic film, and he's great in that movie. He's kind of playing the stranger, the man with no name type character that's coming in. You don't really know his origin, so people are kind of blaming him for what's going on. But it's a good movie, though. I do think it's a solid Western film, and if you haven't seen this one, I think it's worth checking out. And if you're somebody that's like, I don't like Westerns, it's horror only for me, Ken, I recommend giving this one a shot because there are horror elements. Look, Vinegar Syndrome did put this out. There are horror elements involved here. And I think that this one could be the one that maybe, acts as your gateway into the Western genre, like your bridge from the horror genre to the Western genre could be a 5-card stud. But yeah, nice cover art on the inside as well. I think this had a good amount of special features too. And yeah, this is directed by the same guy that directed True Grit with John Wayne. So yeah, you got some prestige in the Vinegar Syndrome collection here, guys. But yeah, some good features though. I mean, I think there's like 3 new interviews here with this one, but 5-card stud, like I do recommend it. I think this is I don't know if this is a Vinegar Syndrome proper. No, this is a VSL. So this is a Vinegar Syndrome Labs release, which is basically like their testing grounds for new types of films. This one, I can't show the slipcover, but I can show underneath. Don't open till Christmas. I watched this one, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. That's when I was binging a bunch of horror movies, a bunch of horror Christmas movies. And this is a good one. This is kind of I think this is set in England, but it kind of feels like a giallo set in England. And I enjoyed this one. It's a nice kind of suspense thriller about the Santa Clauses. There's a Santa Claus that's killing people. And again, it's kind of like a whodunit. You're trying to figure out like who's dressed up like Santa Claus, who's going around killing these women. And England just kind of terrorizing the streets. And again, I remember having a good payoff as well. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. Just a solid slasher. I'll show the back, and he has that mask on him. One very creepy too, very kind of atmospheric and creepy. Next up, guys, I know this one has a 4K coming. I know it has a 4K coming, and I think the 4K could look good. But if you want to get it for a little bit cheaper, get it in the Vinegar Syndrome sale for 50% off, and that is Fade to Black. And I believe they still have this in print. Maybe they don't because they lost the rights. And again, Scream Factory is getting ready to put it out on 4K, but I think they still have this Blu-ray in stock. But this is a really good movie. This is another one from Vinegar Syndrome that's like a legitimately good movie. This movie's got a lot of like references to old Hollywood and films. You basically got this guy who's Eddie Spaghetti from the It miniseries back in 1990, who is trying to reenact these classic, movie scenes while he's also murdering people. So he's trying to he's like a serial killer that's playing out those acts while reenacting like old like Hollywood scenes. And it's really fun. It's a fun movie. It's a nice like kind of psychological thriller too, because he's seriously like messed up in the head. So you really like go inside his psyche, and it's really like from his point of view. So it's a good one though. I enjoyed Fade to Black. I think it's a good movie, and I do think it would look good on 4K. I do. I'm not gonna lie. But that's going to be like $33. This is going to be maybe $15, $14 in the Vinegar Syndrome sale. It's got some great special features. Like I think this one is really loaded with special features. Like this one is jam-packed, fully loaded with features in it. So much stuff here in this release. So I can't imagine like what Screen Factory is going to add to it when they put it out on 4K. But yeah, Fade to Black, I recommend that one. That's a legitimately great film. Another legitimately great masterpiece, a work of art, is The Invisible Maniac. Of course, I try to recommend this one every single time. It's just a really sleazy high school slasher film about a guy that, is takes some kind of a potion. He becomes the Invisible Man, and he goes to this high school, and he's peeping on young girls, and he's also murdering them. But he's invisible, so it's a nice kind of twist on the high school slasher film. The only thing about this movie is it's extremely low budget, okay? Very low budget, and it takes place in this high school during like class hours, and there's like 6 people in the school. And so I guess they couldn't afford extras or anything like that. So it kind of feels a little weird. It kind of feels like a Saturday and they're in detention, kind of like The Breakfast Club, because the school just feels empty and they don't really show anybody else in it. So that feels a little bit off. But it's a fun one. It's a fun one for sure. And there's a lot of nudity in it if you like that kind of stuff. Sleazy, gory, really goes for some gnarly kills, like it really does. And yeah, I enjoy The Invisible Maniac. I don't have the see-through slipcover that takes the top off that young lady right there, but it's a good one, guys. I recommend this is in 4K too, and it is really low budget, but the 4K like surprisingly looked really freaking awesome. It did look really freaking good. But I do believe, yeah, this one's got a making of documentary too. I think it's like 32 minutes long. It's not incredibly long or anything. And then it's got some other special features and interviews as well. It's got a music video. But yeah, I recommend The Invisible Maniac. This one's a lot of fun. Next up, we've got Mother's Day on 4K. I remember this one looking awesome on 4K, but this is basically like a backwoods slasher film, kind of like Wrong Turn, except the deformed hillbillies are led by a crazy, maniacal, psychotic mother that is leading them. But yeah, it's kids getting picked off, killed. It's a good time. It's a good time. And this one's got some incredible features as well. Like, look at the back right there, guys. Like, this thing is freaking loaded. Like, I talk crap about Vinegar Syndrome sometimes, but like they really take care of you, like with some of these releases. They really do. And like I said, even if the movie's bad, sometimes you'll dig into the features and you'll enjoy the movie more. So yeah, Vinegar Syndrome's awesome. They do. I am a fan of Vinegar Syndrome. I really am. But yeah, that's Mother's Day on 4K. These are probably two of my favorites releases that Vinegar Syndrome has ever done, or maybe like favorite movies I've ever watched from Vinegar Syndrome. I'm going to call them out at the same time because I've talked about them numerous times in recommendation videos. But Flesh Eater and Madman. Madman is a seriously like underrated slasher film. Like this movie is scary. Like there's several moments in this movie, like when they show Madman Mars, like just in the darkness, that I got like really creeped out and scared. And I watched it with the lights out, and in 4K it looks even better because you have that contrast with the HDR, and you can just like really make him out pretty good in the darkness. But yeah, looks really good on 4K. It is seriously low budget, but it's a fun kind of Friday the 13th knockoff, a camp slasher film. But it's interesting because, or it feels different because instead of Jason, you really have this like incredible Hulk, like like monster. It's like almost troll like character that's picking these kids off. So yeah, there's one like really weird scene in a hot tub. Other than that, it's a really awesome slasher film. I love Madman, and there's some really good features on here as well. And this is like one of the few Vinegar Syndrome releases that I can think of that they put a Blu-ray out and then they upgraded to 4K. I can't think of a lot to where they did that. They really don't do it too often. They really don't. And Flesh Eater, this has become, honestly, this might be in like my top 5 favorite zombie movies. I'm not like a massive zombie movie fan, but I freaking love this. This has got Bill Hinsman in it, who plays the zombie in the very first Night of the Living Dead film back in 1968. And he went off because I think the story is they wouldn't let him be a part of the remake of Night of the Living Dead in 1990. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to make my own zombie movie. And he made Flesh Eater. And you know what? He did a hell of a job. He plays the zombie, the lead zombie in this film. He directs the movie. This movie starts off like really bad. Like if you watch this and 15, 20 minutes in, you want to turn it off, I would understand. But I would also recommend to stay with it. Keep with it. Because this movie, it escalates and it grows and like gets so incredibly big and apocalyptic and incredible gore. Like there's a sequence at this Halloween party that's just freaking gnarly as hell. But yeah, this movie starts off awful, awful. So get ready for that. 20 minutes in, it starts to get better and better and better and better. And like I said, this movie is probably one of my favorite zombie movies just because of how it escalates. And yeah, I think, I've been showing the cover this whole time. There's, hopefully I don't get taken down because of that. But yeah, this movie is so freaking awesome. I just love it so much. And there's all kinds of incredible special features in this one as well. And like I said, you have a Halloween party in here. It's set around Halloween, and you kind of have those Halloween vibes. I mean, you start off with like a hayride, through a farm. So it really has those fall, like Halloween vibes as well. So I recommend watching this one around, the Halloween time, October time, September, somewhere around there. But Flesh Eater is a freaking banger. I love that movie. But that's my recommendations, guys, and just kind of, preview of what's to come in the Vinegar Syndrome sale. Again, it starts this Thursday night at midnight, 12:01. So get ready. Open up your wallets and get ready to spend a fortune on new Vinegar Syndrome titles, past Vinegar Syndrome titles, 50% off, 60% off, 70% off. You're going to have to take out a second mortgage on your house. I'm just joking, guys. Don't do that. Vinegar Syndrome, like these movies are fun. They're not worth that. Okay. But you know what? Pick yourself up a couple of titles for cheap. Okay. It's worth it. These are worth it. The ones that I talked about. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.